Hi friends, it's Deanna Williston with our Blooming Catholic Life, and I hope you've been enjoying our Wednesday series on interviewing dulcimer builder and player and historian Ken Hulme. So here is one of my mountain dulcimers, but we're going to set this aside for just a minute. We're going to try and make some of the things that Ken has been talking to us about. It has taken me over an hour probably to set this video up, and the sunlight keeps changing, so I do keep moving and trying to do my best here for you. What are we going to do today? You've seen the title. We're going to open up the tube of gobble gobble, as well as I have bamboo poles. Now Ken told us, we talked about how the noder is really a replacement for your finger, and so it should be finger-like. Obviously, mine is smaller than my finger. This is an oak dowel rod that I picked up at my local hardware store. And yes, they will cut it to length for you, and then you sand them down. I've been enjoying playing with that, and oak is a nice hard wood, but it's not quite big enough around. You'd have to go to the internet to specialty shops, but he mentioned bamboo. One of the great things about bamboo is Steve Yulberg has talked to us about this too, is it has a flat side. These do not have a flat side. I would have to go ahead and, I don't know, somehow sand down a flat side on those. But bamboo comes, it seems, each segment, they're different, seem to be different each segment, but each of these segments has a flat side while the rest of it is round. And it is one of the hardest. It's not a wood, it's a grass, but it's one of the hardest things you can get. The trick is cutting it because of these big, thick joins, or knuckles, some people call them. So we're going to experiment a bit on how to cut them. We really should have asked him that. As well as, I do have in here some turkey feathers, and so we're going to attempt to cut these. Now, the turkey feather we learned from Ken, the big, thick end can be used as a noder, and this smaller end can be used as a pick or strummer. Also, I learned, I apologize to all of you, I've been strumming wrong all along. I'm supposed to be going almost horizontal when I've been trying to stick this in between the strings. That's what I get for living in an area where the dulcimer isn't prevalent. Now, I had gotten out, oh wait, let's say the prayer that my husband likes to pray before I start these crafty videos. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Dear sweet baby Jesus, please keep my wife from cutting any of her fingers or appendages off. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. I went down to the basement. I got my little sawzall thing. I tried my jeweler's. Okay, the sawzall thing wasn't charged, and I can't find a charger anywhere near it. The jeweler's saw has no blade. Let's see. Then I found a blade that looked like it would work, but it's just a blade. There's no handle. I'm not stupid enough to use these things. What else did I find? Oh, something that called like a snap saw. That was great grandpa's. That doesn't seem like a great choice. And I'm not going to try an X-Acto knife. This was also great grandpa's. I'm not trying an X-Acto knife on the bamboo. Now, I may try that on the feathers. Okay. So what did I end up with for my tour in the garage? If I do cut my hand off, none of you, this isn't live. None of you are going to know to call my, oh well. I have 911 on speed dial, I'm sure. What I went and got was a miter saw. Why I chose this is it has a fairly fine blade, and everything I saw talked about a fine blade. It also reminds me of Japanese back saw, which seemed to make sense to me for this project. Now, I'm probably going to start on a section maybe that's already split. Some of these down here are split, like they're crushed, like somebody ran over them or something. Anyway, I thought I'd try that to check out the theory first, and then I'll try it on a larger section. Let's give this a little shot here. Maybe we shouldn't do it on that table. Totally not going to do it on my lap. We've learned that lesson the hard way. Okay, so now I need to move the dulcimers off of where I had them resting. This is my teardrop dulcimer. Isn't it lovely? It was made by a gentleman down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And this is my hourglass-shaped McSpadden dulcimer. And we don't want them to fall, so we're putting them somewhere for safety. Okay. And I do have like a little sawhorse over here. Okay, it's a cooler. I have a cooler. So I'm setting that off to the side. Yeah, Rusty's looking over me. I know I'm not showing you Saw, but that's just in case there's like a horribly gory accident. Could happen. So in theory, I've got a decent notch there. Just wanted to do a trick. Yes, so if you try to do it part way, it's gonna fray. You don't want to do that. That's a really good section. All these sections look really good except for this one at the end. How can I cut them? I also want a decent length. They all really seem good after this broken one, which was already broken. Remember, that was part of where it got run over or crushed. So I knew that was bad. I also had some gardening shears at one point. Did I bring those out? Oh, darn. I was wanting to try those. Well, I do want to look inside here. So inside, although we often think of bamboo as being hollow, there does appear to be a pithy section in here. Oh, nope, that's just the back side. Oh, there's like a little bit of pith in there still. Oh, it's like paper thin. It's like tissue paper in there. That's very interesting. Okay, let's give this another try. I'm going to go ahead and saw this somewhere safely, and I will come back in just a minute. Hi, friends. I'm back. I wanted to show you a little bit of an update. I found, I tried cutting the crushed section first to kind of get a feel for it, and I thought it's really hard to score. There's no scoring when I started with the miter saw, and I needed a score. But if you look in between each of the joints, or joints, whatever, there's a little groove already in bamboo, right? So I thought, why reinvent the wheel? So that's actually where I'm sawing. That's why it looks like it's solid. We all know bamboo's not. Now the only difficulty is this flat portion that I want to use. See, wherever the flat portion is, this time it's this one that's flat. And look, it's where the little shoots were off. They do seem to be alternate as well, which is interesting to know. I never noticed that about bamboo before. So they're probably going to need to be sanded, or I'm going to have to get used to it. Some of them were cut off a little bit better. So if you're trimming the bamboo yourself first while it's green, this is about 10 years old at least. Oh, this is 20-year-old bamboo. This was my son's. A neighbor was clearing out bamboo, and they gave a bunch to me and to all the boys in the... I know this sounds stupid. And to all the boys in the neighborhood, because we're crafty people, the boys use them for all kinds of things, swords and fishing rods and who knows, probably in all kinds of flagpoles and forts. And so they just gave them to us, and we didn't know much about bamboo at the time. These have lasted for so many years, though. I'm down to my last couple. My son's an adult and he's not using it, so I thought I would. But if you're cutting it yourself, I would go ahead and cut those things off while it's sort of soft. You could probably use some really sharp gardening shears to get that. But can you see how I'm cutting this so nicely? This is what the joint originally looks like over here. And you can see it's making a nice little cut. And I'm able to turn it around. I've been starting with the flat side down to give stability for sawing, and then turning it as I go. You can see I've jumped it a little bit, but not much. And I should be able to sand that out later. Okay, update strokes after I talk to you, friends. It came right off. So exciting. So yeah, this is hard as a rock. I can't get this off. But, okay, no sanding. We all know I'm like dying to try it, right? Let's get a dulcimer out and let's see how it goes. Oh, McSpatty is tuned to DAC, so let's not play Amazing Grace on him. That's a little crazy talk. Let me get the DAA teardrop. Okay, I know some of you are always going to complain. Oh, but I can't see it. Sorry. I don't have expensive, fancy equipment. Let's just try. We're just trying this out. If you'd like me to have all those great shots and stuff, please feel free to give me super thanks and buy all the stickers and things, and then we will go ahead and upgrade the equipment. So I'm going to hold it like this, flat side down. Let's see what it sounds like. Ooh, it's taking a little bit. I wasn't holding my hand right, sorry. Ooh, nope. It's catching just a smidge. Let me try again. Okay, the problem with using it just after the knuckle is, see how it is flat and then it comes out for the knuckle. So I'm going to have to angle it a little bit more. I'm catching on the frets right now, or I'll be able to sand that out later. If I was better at sawing, I might saw down right after that joint. See, like maybe right here where it gets flat again. But I'm not that talented, so let's just try angling it slightly different. Yeah, that angle's still a little bit awkward. I can probably sand it down or get better at it. It's just because it flares out. It gets bigger at that joint. They're probably all like that, and I hadn't noticed that to start with. So you're going to want to either cut that little bit off. You can totally see it. I know you can see it. Or sand it down a little bit. But is it hard enough? I'm going to try something a little bit different to see if I can get the sound. Okay, what I was going to do was I was like, I'll just hold it over all the strings. What will that sound like? Wacky, right? I'm going to try it again just for fun. Okay, I also learned on the call. Okay, so we're going to set that aside, but can I cut bamboo? Yes. Have I learned some things? Yes. We're going to want to use the flat side. Great. But we're going to get rid of that knob at the end of these. Now, whether we're going to sand them down or cut just inside of them, I don't know yet. I'm going to try that out some more later, but learned a lot about the bamboo there. Now, the problem with strumming is I've been strumming like this. See how it's going in between them? I think Ken was talking about we want to float over it. Yes, this is a bread pick. This is what I'm using now. In a few minutes, hopefully I'll be using a turkey feather. So let's go back to my oak stick for just a minute and see if that flat sound is any better. Definitely better. The problem is because I am holding it flat, I've got these knobs on the side of it. Let me try it this way. I don't know if I can do it. It's kind of tricky. It's fun to try though. Okay, so I'm going to experiment with the angles at which I hold these, and I'm probably going to have to give up the bread picks because of all the clicky clackiness going on. Let's get out our turkey feathers. Yay! Okay, so the turkey feathers, these came from a friend. The turkeys donated them. They molted all over her front yard, and she was picking them up to throw them away. And I said, wait a second. So she sent me a bunch of them. They do seem to have really big shafts because they say that you want really wing feathers. I have no idea if these are wing feathers, but I know that some of them are fairly chunky. Look at those chunky monkeys. So those chunky ones, now, remember the Ken's thing is a substitute for a finger. Are they the same as my finger? No, there are lots. You see the squirrel over here running in the background. Fun. Okay. I think I will use this one. I can use this end maybe as a noter because it is the thickest one there is. Now here's the scary part. Taking the feathery bits off. You don't really want to do it, right? Didn't you have this romantic idea of playing the dulcimer? Let's grab one quick. Didn't you have this romantic idea of somebody who's like... with the feather and you're like all 70s, I don't know. And you think you're amazing and you're going to do it and it's so cool. Apparently you rip the feathery bits off. What? I know. Hold on for just a second. Need to set those down secure, and of course Rusty wants to go inside now. Come on, Rusty. You're killing me here. In. All day long, that dog has wanted to come outside. But suddenly you bring out saws and things, and he's like, I need to go in. Whatever. He's probably calling my husband right now. Anyway, so you hold on to the tip of the feather. And supposedly this happens. Oh, it does just rip off. It feels so wrong, doesn't it? My inner child is crying. But it is coming cleanly. I never thought it would come this cleanly. Now, you do have to wonder, you've heard of Native Americans, probably other people do it, where they would somehow make quill beads or something. Maybe they had to do this to do that. Isn't that a different looking already? Such a beautiful little feather. Can I leave the tip on at least? Oh my goodness, it does rip off. It like zips off like you're pulling on a zipper. Can you see this? It's like, okay, that one came off. Did you see that? That was like a zipper. It's so weird. So weird. Ah, now I can't get this one started. I have like feather bits everywhere. That's one of the reasons I was doing it outside. Ugh. Oh, this section just doesn't want to come off. There. It came off. It's not looking the same at all. It's not the romantic dream dulcimer thing, is it? Sit here in a pile of feathery bits there. But who knew? Okay, that was still way easier than I thought, and I've watched lots of people do it on videos, and still never would have thought that that could happen. Can I get the tip off? Just feels wrong. Because you can't rip it backwards. You do have to rip it from the top down. It's a little fiddly here. I have a feeling you just cut this off because this is getting a little silly. And that is why I had the X-Acto knife, but now I'm not sure that that's the right tool for the job. I may just grab scissors, friends. I did bring out scissors. There's really good scissors. So I do have those. I'm just going to cut that very tip off. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it in half. Now, he did didn't Ken talk to us about when you do it at an angle and when you do it flat? He did, didn't he? Well, if you were a good kid and paid attention, let me know. That was not me, apparently. Okay, it did work. It crushes it a little bit when you cut it with scissors. Okay. So the only thing I'm going to change first, I'm still going to use my bread pick just to give you the same sound, but I'm going to try using this part of the feather, the big thick part. Let's give it a try. Clean all the feathers off my music. Okay, here's something unexpected. As much as I thought that I have sanded and polished this is like glass. It is just sliding up and down those frets. It is amazing. I can't describe to you. It's a completely different sensation. I almost like went right off the fretboard. What fun. Let's try that again. It was such a surprise. I had no idea that would happen. What happened there? Okay, Ken warned us about this as well. You should be holding it here. Use your finger as a guide to slide back and forth. It's why he said in a noter style dulcimer, this needs to be taller. This fretboard should be at least an inch. It should be like that first digit on your finger, right? That first little section. Why? Because that's how you're gonna like hold it and slide here, right? And you see, every time I do it, I'm doing it like this. It's at an angle. So I'm not hitting the second string. I'm only hitting the first string. I want to hold both. I could also do it like this and slide it. Ah, so maybe I want to cut this little tip off. Just like our bamboo got bigger at the end, this is getting smaller at the end. And so that could be part of why I'm missing it. I'm not putting it quite far enough over because I'm afraid of hitting this middle drone, right? So I'm not sticking it far enough over to get the whole flat part on this. And so I'm actually missing my second melody string when I'm playing. Again, these are the things you have to try out for yourself to realize you're doing. So let's go ahead and snip that skinny bit off. We don't want it tapered. This is not a quill pen. Remembering that it may crush it a little bit. Could also give it a try with that X-Acto knife. Ooh, it's kind of hollow inside. Remember I said about making the beads with it? So let's see if that makes a difference. Yeah, I probably don't want all these little raggedy bits at the end, but that's the trick. This is now a decent noter. Even though it's skinnier than my finger, it's like glass. It's so slick. I had no idea it would be a world difference. Before I had the oak dowel rod, I was using pine, and I thought the oak was so slippery compared to the pine. This is just slippery. It's going to make sliding up and down those frets super easy. Okay, let's go back to the oak dowel rod, because I want to give this a little try. So what does it sound like? Let's just try strumming. Okay, that's too light. I'm going to use this thicker end and see what happens. It's a much softer sound. So how am I playing? It's different than normal. I'm really going to like this. It's so much easier than it was with this bread pick, which has a different kind of edge, doesn't it? It's got a thin little edge. I was using this. Now, what I was doing the first time was I was being really silly. I liked that sound, didn't I? I'm going to have to experiment. There's a quill whip thing. I have no idea what it is. Ken tried to even show me. It's going to take some time. I think he said it's like a little figure eight kind of thing going. This is not a figure eight. This is Deanna like freaking out on the strings. But it's just kind of so pretty. I have no idea if how that works. Try with this thicker end. See if I do the same. It does it so quickly you can barely hear the melody at all. And how was I doing that? I was just strumming like this. Again, I'm trying to get it more horizontal, I feel like that's what Ken said. So if Ken's seeing this or you're seeing this and you want to give us more tips, I'm really pleased at how easy the feathers really did clean up. I've got a few more to go and experiment, and they're all different thicknesses. So it's going to be really fun to try out. I really wanted the cool feathery bits, but you know, you can still have fun with it and make mustaches. It's just not the same. It's not the autistic dulcimer player that you think you're gonna be. You know, you always think you're gonna be. But fun fun. So I learned a lot about these materials and their use in music. And remember, the dulcimer is a wild instrument. That's why there's not really a standard tuning. People are trying to make a DAD. It's not. Reject that. The dulcimer has not been standardized. It comes in different shapes, made in different woods. It has different kinds of sound holes, different size fretboards, different numbers of frets, different depth of fretboards we learned about. All different ways to play with different materials. You can use the feathers. You can use different hardwoods. You can use bamboo. Like, you're going to get a little bit different sound depending on what you do. And we learned today the angle of the things you use as well as the angles you hold them at. So much to learn, so much fun to have. This is the way that people would have been playing in the wild. You make use in the wild. In the mountains, you would make use of what you have around, and it's really fun and exciting. Again, people don't think of bamboo in America, but there are native species, and this was growing in my neighbor's yard. So you would grab what you had. Bamboo, they were like giving it away. Just big hordes of it back in the day because it grows like wildfire. So it's a renewable resource. Guess what? Those turkeys, they grow new ones every year. So you would use a nice renewable resource like that. Oh, it's so exciting. So exciting. So much more to play with. There's always so much more to learn, just like there is in our blooming Catholic faith. Friends, may God bless you and keep you, and may He make His face to shine upon you, be gracious unto you, and may the good Lord bless you. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.